There was something I was meaning to do this morning. I just been wandering around trying to remember what it was. It had something to do with using this machine. Here. And I know this had something to do with it, this thing here. And this stuff, as I remember, the problem was someplace out here, someplace. It wasn't the turkeys, not the broiler chicks. Maybe it had something to do with this. What could be wrong here? See, that looks all right. Door's all right. See those, yeah? Huh. I don't know. Well, chickens look all right. None of them need a jack. What could it be? Oh, there's something wrong here. I don't know, I think the warranty expired. I know what this trailer needs. It needs some racing slicks on it. Some big, fat, wide ones, maybe bigger ones in the back than in the front. Oh, the chickens would love that. Come off there, you. You ain't gonna come off, are you? She's pernicious. Let's squirt some wee-wee juice on here. Well, you... Come off there. Those chickens always got something to say. There. Oh, those hens are just outraged. They must have been listening to the cattle. What the heck's happened to my jack? Now the question is, will she come off the hub? Oh! Something went right. Well, let's give her the inspection. Yeah. 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 I think I'll just put a new tube in it and it should be good to go. I went down to my local tire shop and they had a used trailer tire with quite a bit of tread on it. I was thinking about putting it on one of my cars. It's in good shape. And a tube, so we'll get this one off and put the new one on. Save that to use on something else. Save that tube. I think that can be patched. Yeah, why not? There we go. Stuff that in here. All right. Folks, just remember to retorque your eggmobile tires after the first 50 miles. And always remember to rotate them after 3,000 miles. Well, I figured it was the least I could do to, you know, bring a little brightness to my OCD viewers' day. But as far as those vines by the door, I like them that way. They've been that way for years, so the OCD people are just gonna have to deal with that. They keep me in contact with nature, you know. What's next? This is next. The Super C needs her annual oil change, but I gotta warm it up first. I'm gonna run her up and down the road to warm her up. We'll give her a little stress test. This is the time of year when I start to catch up with maintenance tasks and other things like fixing that tire on the eggmobile, because our work with the animals is starting to slow down. Ugh. I've been spending quite a bit of time not only working on the tractors but also on Hillary's van, which had a second strawberry milkshake, a defective radiator, so I put a separate transmission cooler on it, and I've been going through it and putting new brakes on it and new muffler, and that kind of stuff keeps me busy in the off season. We'll crack this open so the oil flows. This little Super C sure has been a great tractor. I put new engine bearings in it when I first got it because it wasn't holding oil pressure. Fixed the oil pump, which the plate warps on them and then it doesn't hold oil pressure. That's all been great. The issue that I have with it is we only run it for 5 or 10 minutes at a spell, so the engine never warms up enough to boil the moisture out, and I wind up with water in the oil. And it's just a function. A lot of people that restore old tractors and don't drive them a lot have the same issue. You really need to warm it up and work it to dry everything out. It doesn't happen with this tractor. Start her up and make sure she builds oil pressure and let the filter fill. I'm sure you noticed when I was driving the 504 that it whines when it's running. That's the hydraulic pump. The oil is always getting mixed with water, and it's been a problem on that tractor forever. I keep changing the Hytran every year, but I got to do that this fall, and also the governor and the carburetor on it both need rebuilding. The RPMs wander on it a lot under the governor. It makes it really annoying to drive. So I got plenty of fall projects. You always got to take these off slow or there's a chance of getting oil in the face. This is a hydraulic reservoir. You can hear air escaping before the oil will shoot out. Feels all right. But she is low. She's got some leaks. What are you guys doing? You know what time it is? It's time to move. They know where to go. Are you guys ready? I think you might be. Watch out. Here we go. Titus is just coming down. He's tailing Tulip, one of our cows. That's what he does. You know, he'll tail her for 2 or 3 days while she comes in to heat, and then as she's going out of heat, he's their best friend. Watch out, guys. Marty. You don't do that to me. Let me take this one down to the end. Grab the hooks. Then we can put the post back in. With this reduced herd size on pasture, we're only running 20-foot wide strips every day, so this field's gonna last us a while. Here's a pretty little guy. Hey, buddy. There's Titus looking for love. Hey, Titus. Hey, little one. I wanted to talk about fly control a little bit because it's always brought up when I'm out with the cattle. Our cattle do have flies. They'll be gone pretty soon with the first frost. It'll really decrease the population and take some pressure off. We never used fly control up until this year, but as our herd has grown larger, it's become more of an issue. And earlier this year, we tried a kind of larvicide, I guess you'd call it, that we fed in their bulk mineral, and then it passed through and killed the fly larvae. Well, I'm not happy with that. It made their cow patties funny. They didn't break down as fast because it had this stuff in them. I'm not comfortable at all with insecticides. I know there's lots of options, and there's other YouTube channels that discuss those options. I'm aware of them. I think that what we're going to do is wind up using fly paper, and we're going to start this next year because we're near the end of the season, but putting fly paper by the stock tank and then combining that with garlic infused salt that Redmond sells, and give those two options a try and see how it works. I'm really not comfortable with the old style hanging oilers that people would mix diesel fuel with insecticide and it would rub on the cattle's back. I'm not comfortable at all with that. And we've tried permethrin in a spray bottle, which again is an insecticide. The cattle run from that. So I think a good natural way is the fly paper and the garlic infused salt. We also have a good swallow population around here. All these trees that are all around are home to a lot of swallows, and you see them out when I'm cutting and making hay, and they come out mostly in the evenings, and they help with the flies, but they can't do it by themselves. Ooh, our pears are ripe. It's a good snack. Well, we gotta finish tuning up the Super C. And of course, I've mentioned before why chickens won't work for us to tear apart the cow patties. You gotta have the right ratio of chickens to cattle for that to really work and make the labor worthwhile. And it brings up one thing that I always think when I see some other farmers saying, well, folks, all you gotta do is do it this way, and they sort of imply that their solution will work for everyone. Every farm is different. What works for you might not work for another farm, and you got to be careful about selling sort of one-size-fits-all approaches. She got some hydraulic leaks, so she's always low, real low this time. Hey, that's enough. My opinion is that when you start a farm, you got to figure out what works for you, and it ain't going to be what works for somebody else. You're going to figure out your own ways depending on what your land is like and what mixture of animals you want to raise and their proportions, how much land costs and how much feed and hay cost. That's going to determine how you farm. I guess she needs a little bit, not very much. Another thing that can happen with the series of engines that's in these Super Cs, the Cs, the As, and the Bs is they're wet sleeved, and the O-rings at the bottom of the sleeve sometimes will start leaking, so you get coolant dripping into the crankcase. and contaminating the oil. But I don't think it's the case on this tractor because I just have to top off the antifreeze once a year. It uses very little. Not enough to contaminate the oil. We're good. Wow. Come on, you got to face backwards. You got to look right. There we go. There's about a million things to service on these old tractors. Looks like that grease zerk's getting bad, worn down. Take the grease. This cover's for greasing the clutch throwout bearing. Oh, chicken feathers. I wonder where they came from. Probably ought to clean that out. On the bottom of the bell housing here, there's a cover for cleaning out the clutch housing and doing other stuff. Every year that happens. The mice get in here and they build nests. Clean them out. Mises. Ugh. Now I can grease that throwout bearing. Just gotta hit it here. Where is she? Ah, Fruity. There it is. Put this back on. Put this back on. Well, that'll do it. If you're interested in service on these old tractors, I have a whole video in the library on servicing this tractor in particular. Start to finish also applies to the A's, the B's, and the H's and the M's to a certain extent. You can look it up. Well, it's time to feed the pigs. What's going on, piggers? Are you hungry? All right. This is a great time of year for us on the farm. The farmers markets are busy, which means that we're putting away money for the winter when they're slower, and the farm itself is slowing down such that I can catch up on projects. It always makes me feel good to tick those things off the list, and the weather couldn't be better. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time.